So that simple act of giving yourself permission is very often the only thing standing between you and your dreams. It's a, interesting collection of words, permission to be you, but the process by which you get there requires deep commitment to yourself. And I can't think of another person more worthy of that commitment than yourself. Giving yourself the right to embrace who you are without apology and without this need for conformity to someone else's standards. So it really challenges you to look at yourself and look at your life and decide, am I finally going to do something about this? Am I finally going to take some action? And if I do, I've got now with me, with this book, a set of tools that will help me take that action in a meaningful and structured way. What's in it for you is the secret sauce to who you are. I can't think of anybody who doesn't want to know that.
Helping you find your new way forward to the best years of your life. This is a New Way Forward podcast with your host, Paul Long.
So I'm with Elena. Who wouldn't want to know that? But it's not just knowing it, it's then applying it. It's the way that we find the new way forward that's right for us, that we live a life that's true to us, that we want and need to live rather than we're supposed to live. And to help anyone with that, she's come out with this book, Permission to Be You, Discover Your Purpose, Passions, to Bring Your Best Self to Everything and Everyone. So this isn't like, oh, wouldn't it be great? And oh, you should be yourself. And, kind of that light encouraging thing, although there's encouragement in this. No, this is a solid, practical, applicable book to give you the kind of information and perspective that you need and need to understand and help you realize, like so many times going through this book, oh yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, that is the way I want it. Oh yeah, that is the way to do it. Because what's really brilliant on Elena's part is that she has given you with this the tools to identify, discover, and apply those things. Tools that are listed in the book, but also access to tools online with which to do it. Now, Elena and I go back years, and she's just one of the smartest people I know. And the beauty of everything she does is that it's very real world and doable, which fits my mandate. Everything I put out on here is information you need to know, perspective you need to understand, and ways to go after what you want to go after in doable ways. So Elena is the CEO of Purpose Linked Consulting. She is a sought-after expert and coach for business leaders and their teams, helping them with purpose and passion professionally as well as in their daily lives. She's a graduate of the University of Michigan's Change Leadership Program, studied at Tufts University, and also she is a member of the very prestigious Marshall Goldsmith 100 Coaches Organizations, which includes some of the top thought leaders and executive coaches in the world. She has written for numerous publications, and here she is going to share with you what this means about being yourself, living the life that's right for you, passion and purpose and values, and how they're really the crux, the foundation that leads to a better life. But first of all, let's start with the definition of what she means by permission to be you.
It's probably one of the toughest things that we would navigate in our lives. Honoring who we really are, making choices that are based on who we are, not what someone else wants for us, and making decisions that are really rooted in a deeper sense of self and a deeper sense of purpose in life. I think so many of us are guided by what our families tell us to do or what friends influence us to do. And we go in that direction based on peer pressure sometimes, and even family pressure sometimes, and cultural pressures. And very often we find ourselves some 20 years later looking back and thinking, wait a minute, how did I even get to where I am? Why am I doing what I'm doing? And how come it's not more fun? And it's not more fun because it's not you. So the gift of this book is that permission to be who you are, permission to explore that, permission to understand that, and permission to make decisions accordingly. And it sounds like a simple concept, but it's a very hard thing to do because you have to shirk off all of the other naysayers and the people whispering in your ear and telling you to go in one direction or the other. And you have to look inside yourself and have a deep conversation with yourself that asks important questions about who you are, what you want to do in the world, how you want to contribute, and what you want your legacy to be. That's tough work.
And as a result of doing that, I mean, what's the difference then when you actually discover that and you're able to give yourself that permission?
It's absolutely joyful. That's the best way I can describe it. It's freeing. It's having the feeling that I really know who I am and I'm leading the life that's by my design, not by someone else's. And there's such joy in that. I don't know another way to describe it other than joyful, playful, a sense of adventure. It's like every day there's something new about yourself to learn or some new expression of yourself to deliver to the world. That's a good day.
So that's something we would all want, right? But the question is knowing, so what is it? And how do I discover it? And what I discovered, and fortunately, after having made a mistake years earlier in a life change, I said, I really got to figure out what I really want and need and who I am. And I did it the hard way because I didn't have Elena at that time. I didn't have somebody talking about the kind of stuff that I talk about. But I realized that it's like, what is my purpose? To keep my job and earn an income? No, that's a responsibility. That's a task. What's my deep-seated purpose? What do I really value in life? And what am I passionate about? Oh, yeah, you're supposed to live a passionate life. Oh, if you're doing it with passion, but most of us don't even know what that means. It doesn't mean passionate about sex or playing golf or something like that. And then I came across Elena. And she had been wondering the same thing as a top level, fast tracking executive in a global company when she wondered the same thing. And she got together with some researchers at the University of Michigan and came up with a psychometric survey instrument to ask questions to help you identify what your passions are. And those passions being those deep-seated things that we need to express, that we needed to live with, that we needed to do in order to have a fulfilling life. And sure enough, when I saw what my top three were, I'm like, that's me. But that one's missing. That's been missing. I needed it in my life. So just as I was seeking those answers again, Elena got set out on this whole path that she's on because she was wondering the same thing.
At the time, I started off looking at purpose, thinking that if I could understand purpose, I could understand passion. And what I discovered was the opposite, that if I could understand passion, it would lead me back to purpose and developing a depth of appreciation for what that was for each individual. So what I discovered along the way is that your passions aren't a thing. They're not something that you go out and buy or you go out and, you know, get a lottery ticket and hope you win. Your passions are the outward expression of the deeper purpose that's driving you, even if you don't understand what that purpose is in a way where you can be very articulate and write this beautiful purpose statement for yourself. Your passions are the expression of that over and over again. So understanding what those passions are also helps you understand the purpose that might be at their core. Being able to understand my passions is what has helped me come to understand my purpose. So I really lean heavily into the archetype tools that I've developed as a way of understanding and unpacking this. And when I do that, I have a feeling about each of the things that I engage in my life and whether or not they're offering me a playground to use my passions. Because if they are, then I feel energized, I feel engaged, I feel like I'm doing something that matters. I feel like I'm doing me at the very best level that I can do me.
When I discovered what my top three archetypes were, when I took her passion profiler, I was like, bingo, that's it. And I also understood why in my previous career, I went from television news to being a content creator. And that content creator profession that I had for decades, There was something missing from it. I felt like I was kind of failing at life because of it while I was being successful in business with it. And so my top three were creative, transformer, builder. Well, that transformer thing was missing from that. In television news, I had it because I grew up in the business, father and grandfather, and I viewed journalism as a responsibility to inform people honestly, unbiasedly, clearly, missing these days a lot. And that really meant something to me, and it was missing. So when I designed my new life, my new way forward, I needed to have all three of those and some of the others. So here's what those 10 archetypes are. I'm just going to go through them briefly, but you may identify with some of them right away. There's the altruist, the connector, the creator, the healer, the teacher, the builder, the conceiver, the discoverer, the processor, and the transformer. Identifying my top passions was really important to me, and it will be for you. But I came over time to learn what she's going to identify you now, which is the ultimate, which is the Holy Trinity, which is passion, purpose, and values, how they all work together, and they are the foundation that we all need to be who we are and live the life that's right for us.
I spent a lot of my life in my career doing this work and thinking about what are the combinations of things that allow people that I saw thriving to really thrive. And over again, the same pattern appeared to me. These were people who understood what their passions were. They had a deep sense of purpose, and they had even gotten to the point where they could articulate what that purpose was. And it wasn't, I'm here to raise great kids, or, I'm here to make a lot of money. They were far more lofty goals than that. And these same individuals also understood what their values were. And they led their life by those three. They led their life by opportunities to express their passions, which were in alignment with the deeper purpose they thought they were here to achieve, in the context and within the vessel of the value system that was most important to them. And what was interesting about it, when I talked to them about their values, they weren't just using words like integrity or honor or love. They were describing to me what it looked like when those values were in action. So they could clearly define what it meant to be in integrity, what it meant to show respect, what it meant to show spirituality or experience spirituality, if that was a value for them. And for the most part, when I did this work with clients, I would limit them to 5 values, because most of us can't remember more than 3 things that we put on our grocery list when we go to the grocery store without writing it down. So 5 values is a pretty hefty number to really describe who you are by, and to put into practice every day in terms of action. And that's what these folks did. I think the important thing to understand about values is that when you're in situations where you're not living in concert with them, or the environment you're in doesn't honor them, there's absolutely nothing that I've seen fix that. Absolutely nothing. So you need to make decisions that are in alignment with your value system and know what that system is. And it's not malleable. Our values are pretty fixed. We decide what they are and who we want to be and how we want to show up. And every time we can do that in an environment that we're in, it feels good. Every time we're in an environment where it feels like those values are being challenged, or we're somehow not respected for the values that we have, it feels damn uncomfortable and like we're in the wrong place. So having that combination of an understanding of your passions leading to a deeper discovery of your purpose in alignment with the value system that you carry is really the holy trinity of factors that need to be in place for you to live your best life. And I suggest to people, get real comfortable with understanding that. Really spend some time exploring the top 5 values that guide your life, and what they look like when they're in action. Because values are a lot more than just words. There's intention and meaning and behaviors behind them that you have to embody and honor in order to feel fulfilled. And I wouldn't compromise on those at all. So purpose, passions, and values is the Holy Trinity. That's what seemed to be working for everyone to make them feel like I'm leading a life where I'm truly me, and I'm leading a life in service, and I'm making a bigger difference in the world just by being who I am. And there's nothing about me that I need to go change or switch or get more of. I'm already enough.
So as I said in the beginning, the standard for all the content that I put out there is that it's relevant, new perspectives, the kind of information and awareness that are needed in order to live the life that's right and fulfilling for you, and then doable ways to do that. And I know, having read this book, that the information's in there, the perspective's in there to get you started in the right direction, to start developing your roadmap as a bit more of an expert than you might be now. And then the tools to do that and to execute it.
The first thing you're going to get from the book is a travel companion for a deep journey into understanding yourself and developing a language to describe who you are. I begin by helping people understand themselves through their passion archetypes, and all of us have 10 passion archetypes in us to greater or lesser degrees. Again, as I said, the trick is understanding what your top 3 are and how they cause you to show up in the world and how they cause other people to view you. Then what the book allows you to do is explore those passions and how you might use them in different situations throughout your lifetime. I call them pivotal moments. So there's, navigating a crisis, for example, and the crisis that I use in the book is COVID, because it was a universal crisis we all experienced at the same time around the world, and we can all understand it. I also explore how we navigate romantic relationships or parenting or our careers, or how we navigate the learning journey, because we're all students of something, right? And we all have to go through a learning journey. And I also explore how we use our passions to navigate death and loss, because I don't think any of us, as the expression goes, is getting out of this alive. So we're all going to have some experience with loss at some point in our lives in some way, shape, or form. So understanding how your passions cause you to show up in those situations and how understanding your passions can allow you to navigate those situations more fluidly is really, really helpful. The book contains a set of reflection questions at the end of every chapter. If you want to explore this subject matter deeper for yourself, you can. I also offer online a toolkit of reflection materials, of assessments, and even of planning documents. So for the reader who really wants to go more deeply on this and wants to have sort of their own coach in a box, it's available to them through the online portal. So there's just a host of information available to folks. You can approach this book any way you want. There's enough stories and interesting stuff in it to just hold your attention if you choose to do nothing other than read it from one end to the other, or pick a chapter that matters to you and explore it. I invite people to approach it in whatever way they're most comfortable. And I'm sure they're going to find something there that's helpful. At the end of the day, it is about an individual making a choice, and the choice is to choose yourself. Choose yourself, really lean into that, really lean into the exploration of who you are and who you want to be and how you want to show up in the world. And it really means kind of owning the fact that you can make a difference.
I hope it's been an eye-opener about the need and ability to be you and to understand your purpose, your values, what you're passionate about, and putting them together to, my ultimate purpose in this whole new way forward thing, and my passion and matches my values, is to enable people to live the life that's right for them, or to discover it, or to redesign it. And I believe Elena in this book is very much aligned in that. I hope you check it out. I've got a link to it down in the description or down below, so that you can tweak, refine, define, design the new way forward, the life that is ideal for you.
Learn more ways to enhance your life and discover a new way forward that's perfect for you by watching these videos or any others on my channel. Oh, and be sure to subscribe.